Morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. ForexFreeClub. We're taking signals at 9 a.m. Just want to let you know that these are free educational signals. I do my analysis every week using the weekly chart on Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And then throughout the week, I'll be taking entries on this account, which is connected to this free signals page. You can use it to know what my entries are. And you can follow along in the demo account. So let's get into some news this morning. All right, so dollar is being driven by Yellen. This is Russell Shore on FXCM. The Federal Reserve's communication contributed to pressure on the dollar. The U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has taken the spotlight as a market driver. On Wednesday, her announcement on blanket bank deposit insurance overshadowed the dovish Fed hike. However, Yellen's reassurance to markets yesterday that additional actions would be taken if needed provided some relief to the market concerns regarding U.S. regional banking troubles. This has reduced the pressure on rate cut speculation and the dollar. This emphasizes how the market struggles to see the U.S. small bank troubles being resolved without significant government support. Overall, this supports a bearish bias on the dollar as the situation is unlikely to develop into a fully fledged systemic crisis, which would be USD positive. The market is anticipating Fed cuts later in the year, and the unclear Fed communication is doing very little to push back against this. So that supports our overall bias that we are shorting the dollar. Let's look at crypto. Bitcoin benefits as yield drops. Russell Shore. So the U.S. 2-year has declined. 2-year yield has declined markedly over the last 8 trading days from the high of 5.09% to current levels of 3.74%. This has proven to be a tailwind for Bitcoin. The cryptocurrency is up over 25% over the last week. Concerns over the health of the global banking system are a key driver. Credit Suisse AT1 were vaporized in UBS's takeover of the bank, with $17 billion wiped out. In response, capital is seeking the safety of sovereign bonds. The U.S. 2-year note, which is particularly sensitive to monetary policy, has declined to 6-month lows as traders bet that the Fed won't hike on the March the 22nd, which just passed. The CME Fed Watch tool has just 1-to-1 odds of a 25 basis point rate hike, which is what it was. The speculation is that any further rate increases may add to the banking sector woes, dent confidence, and cause economic damage. Bitcoin benefits in a lower rate environment. Just a few weeks back and before the failure of SVB, markets have priced in a 5.6 terminal rate. This has been marked down aggressively to 4.75 by May. This repricing is supporting the cryptocurrency. So we're bullish on the crypto market. Let's look at the commodities. Let's not even worry about gold. Let's look at the calendar. All right, so today, 9 a.m. So we have a speech, manufacturing PMI, global composite PMI, services PMI coming up in the next hour or so. I probably won't be on at that time, but I'll definitely be watching the market. We are putting out YouTube shorts, so check out the shorts. As well as on TradingView. All right, so next Friday, we have PCE price index year over year, month over month. PCE, same thing. Personal spending, Chicago PMI. All right, so the only one that's important or it has 3 stars is the core PC price index month over month. So I guess we'll read that. So the core personal consumption expenditure PCE price index measures the changes in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers for the purpose of consumption, excluding food and energy. Prices are weighted according to total expenditure per item. It measures price change from the perspective of the consumer. It is a key way to measure changes in purchasing trends and inflation. A higher than expected reading should be taken as positive bullish for the USD, while lower would be negative bearish. So the forecast 0.4. The actual for February was 0.6. So we'll see what they have. They're forecasting 0.4 again. So we'll see what it comes out to. All right, so let's hop on to the charts. So I'm kind of changing how I draw my zones, but I do want to still include my weekly zones, monthly zones. So I'll do a top down based on that. So let's see where my strongest zones are. Didn't make a new high. So this will be our monthly zone. So I'm going to go through, drop on my zones. So I'm just going to run through my main watch list and drop on my monthly zones. I guess that will be the zone right there. So with this top down, I only go down to the daily time frame in case anybody's wondering. I usually prefer to stay on the higher time frames. And I do draw my zones body to body, not wick to wick. If anybody's wondering, that's why some of them can be different sizes. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that as well. It's just some analysis I was doing before. Okay, so now we dropped our monthly zones. Let's drop down to the weekly. There's a zone right there. Possibly could be using this area of demand on a higher time frame as support. So we'll see if this candle breaks above, gives us a retest, look to enter this pricing before possibly coming back down to the zone again. We'll see if price is moving up or moving down, depending on how it works through these different levels. So I don't like to draw too much on my chart. So hopefully that's clear. That's what I'm looking at on AU. We're on the weekly time frame. My trend line, my counter trend line is drawn. But this could eventually end up being the main trend. It's just that right now we're still at this monthly zone. So we are shorting off this zone as a supply zone. We've already broken past these lows. Until we break past these highs, we wouldn't have a bullish bias necessarily. So right now we're just looking at possible demand to look for another test before we see if we're going to break these highs. So I'm not sure if this is going to be a higher low at this point, but it's showing signs of becoming a higher low. So we'll trade it as if it's already a higher low until we have signs to look for more premium pricing to take it down. All right, so let's look at a Swiss. See what my weekly zone is. Got my trend line, my counter trend line. I got to draw. So the only zone I see is possibly this zone right here. All right, so on AUD Swiss franc, what I'm looking at is that we are retesting this previous demand as potential supply. We had a strong reaction down, but we're also in this higher time frame demand zone. So we could be looking at something similar to AUD USD, where we're using this zone as a way to look for more premium pricing before either retesting this zone for a move up or dropping back down to a higher time frame demand. So we'll see how price reacts at these different areas. Hope that makes sense. Let's save that. All right, GBP USD. See what weekly zone do I have. I'm looking at. This is definitely a weekly zone. It's being used as demand right now, but it could eventually become supply. But we'll see how it plays out. Because we haven't really. Right now, we're in a nice position for a sell back down to the zone. But until we break this low, we wouldn't know if we're bearish, so we can still potentially be bullish from the zone. So that's why I'm drawing it. We'll confirm if we're bullish if we break these highs, come back for a retest to one of these levels, and then move up higher. So it's 9 o'clock now. In terms of entries, the market is looking very bearish right now, but it could potentially be a long-term entry. AUD Swiss franc looks good for entry right now. AD USD is okay. GBP USD for a short, yeah. GBP Swiss franc for a buy. So GBPs, I wouldn't really be looking at GBPs right now. NZD is chopping it around in the middle. We have a weekly zone here. All right, so the weekly zone here is chopping around, but we could find some support in this area to take it up for more premium pricing before looking for a short down, or waiting to see if price will break and retest. So for now, I would say stay out. Let me erase this one. There we go. All right, there we go. Now that's cleaner. So I would look for buys from here, potentially buys from this zone into this area for shorts, depending on how far it goes. So NZD USD, okay for a buy, I guess. NZD Swiss franc looks a lot better for a buy. So we just tapped out of this high time frame demand. Looks like we're a little bit below the 50 of this candle, but we still haven't closed below it. So possibly we could be bullish up to this point, looking for better pricing down. This is our monthly zone, so you can see that we're bearish, but this could be a potential higher low. So let's see what happens with that. All right, so taking entries, AUD Swiss franc, NZD Swiss franc looks like the best setups for today's entry. If you guys would prefer to enter on Monday, or you can check back in next week and see how the week opens. But we're taking entries, swing trade positions. We do hold over the weekend, so be mindful of that. All right, so let's look at the crypto market and get rid of some of this stuff. All right, so crypto had a nice bullish reaction off my zone, so that's great. Let's see Ethereum, same thing. Nice reaction off the zone. SPX is kind of chopping around. It's not really sure if it wants to be bullish or bearish. I was able to get a nice bullish reaction this week in this week's candle. Let me go back to draw some of my trend lines in. NASDAQ would be interesting to watch. Looks like it's trying to come back to the zone. So the next candle next week might be an entry for us. Gold is taking off. Gold is taking off. And then silver. All right, so that's the crypto indices metals. Look at the fundamentals really quickly. I think I'm gonna take these off. Nah, actually, I'm gonna leave these on. Yeah, even the minis are chopping around. NASDAQ looks pretty much the same. Let's look at the VIX. Okay, so the VIX was popping around this week, but it looks like it does want to keep continuing higher. So we did get an increase of volatility starting last week. So that's good to note why a lot of these markets are having the reactions that they are. Australian index still moving lower. So it'll be interesting to see if we get a break of this trend line. Okay, so futures still moving lower, it looks like, but be interested to see if we get a break. Okay, Australia 10-year yields. It's looking bullish from here. So technically these are counter trend lines. So it'll be interesting to see if this trend line will break to look for a bullish reaction. All right, so we're definitely bullish on the British index. Same with the British futures. Same with the British yields. Okay, so it looks like we could possibly get a reaction from this zone to show bullishness on the British 10-year yields. So we're waiting to get a confirmation with that break. All right, the New Zealand index, we're just now starting to get a little bit of a break. It looks like we might be catching a bullish reaction from this week. So that would be a nice entry on the NZDs, like I was saying. So NZD Swiss franc would be a great pair to enter in on based on the fundamentals. The futures as well gave us a nice break and retest for this week. All right, and then the 10-year yields looks like they're coming down, so we want to see if we get a break of that trend line, but we're definitely still bullish on the 10-year yields from this low. All right, so just to recap, AUD USD waiting for that trend line to break, but for now it looks like it might be finding some support inside of this bullish candle here to take it up for premium pricing before potentially looking for a drop to the zone or lower, just depending on how far price retraces. AUD Swiss franc looks like a clean setup from the higher time frame demand. We would want to wait for this break of the trend line or the zone for confirmation of bullishness before looking for premium pricing to then sell it down, or we could wait for our zone to break if that scenario happens as well. GBP is looking prime for a short down to the weekly zone, possibly looking for a bullish trade. But if it were to come down lower, this will be an area that I'll be looking to see if price will react. Okay, let's look at GBP Swiss franc. So GBP Swiss franc, it's been chopping around, so I wouldn't really worry about it too much. But this could be a nice place to look for a long trade up to our monthly supply zone. Get rid of this. Go back, see if there's any others. Okay, got it. All right, so then NZD USD, we're in our weekly zone. This demand right here, similar to some other pairs, but we didn't have anything lower to target. So it would be nice to see if we could get to a little bit lower pricing before looking for a buy, or we could take the buy off this zone, hoping to break the high and look for bullishness there. But we'll have to see how that plays out in the weeks to come. And then NZD Swiss franc, probably one of our stronger setups, right at the higher time frame demand. Looks like it will close above this week's open price, which would be indicative of possible bullish momentum. But we would like to see the confirmation of this trend line being broken, possibly retesting a previous zone, which there would be a weekly zone here. But I just didn't draw it because it's pretty choppy. But that would be a nice area to look for continuation up. So let me see if we have any comments. All right, we got people online. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Um, all right, guys. Well, that's pretty much all I have for the analyses next week. And for now, that's all I have. So I'm bullish on the market, but everything is pretty choppy, consolidating. But this might be a great entry for next week or moving into next month. So be mindful of that. And then also know that as the new month opens, we will be getting some drawdown. But as we're swing trading, make sure you use stop loss that accommodates you with the position size that you're using so you don't over leverage your account. Guys, if you want to learn more about trading for free, check out my links. You can go to the shorts and see links in the description as well as the titles. And you guys will be able to get access to, all the tools that you need to become a trader. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Have a great day.